the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom has made a bold recommendation, sanctioning India's external intelligence agency, the Research and Analysis Wing. We also call it RAW. This recommendation comes amid serious allegation that RAW has been involved in targeting Sikh separatist leaders abroad. Their latest report highlights concern over damaging religious freedoms in India, urging the US government to designate India as a country of particular concern due to ongoing violation. While the report has sparked international debate, the reality is more complex. India and the US share deep strategic ties, particularly in trade, defense, and countering China's influence. This raises an important question. Will Washington actually take action against India, or is this recommendation largely symbolic? For decades, India has viewed Sikh separatists, those who are advocating for an independent Khalistan state, as a national security threat, and you cannot blame them. However, in countries like the US and Canada, these groups have been free to operate politically. The controversy erupted when the US accused an ex-Indian intelligence officer of involvement in assassination attempt against Gurpatwant Singh Panal, a US-based Sikh separatist, or also we call him Khalistani. This was followed by accusations from Canada, where former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau claimed that India was involved in the killing of another Khalistani, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, on Canadian soil. Though, let me tell you that India has strongly denied all the allegations, calling them politically motivated. However, these claims have strained diplomatic ties between both the nations, India and North American nations. Beyond the Khalistan issue, this report has consistently criticized India's treatment of religious minorities, particularly Muslims and Christians. The report states that religious freedom in India has been on a downward graph, citing incidents of mob violence, discriminatory policy, and legal crackdown on religious organizations. The Commission has for multiple years recommended labeling India as a country of particular concern, though the US government has not acted on these recommendations. Interestingly, the report also points out that Washington has largely overlooked human rights concern in India because of its strategic interest, particularly countering China's growing global influence. Well, also, despite the strong wording in the report, its recommendations are not legally binding. The US government does not have to follow through on the suggested sanctions, and given India's strategic importance, it is highly unlikely that Washington would impose penalties on RAW. The two countries have been strengthening their diplomatic economies and defense ties, making it politically difficult for the US to take drastic action against India. Now let's talk about the real side. The Indian government has dismissed this report as biased and inaccurate. In 2023, India also rejected another US religious freedom report, calling it misinformed and interfering in India's internal affairs, which is completely true. Indian officials argue that these reports selectively highlight incidents to fit a specific narrative, ignoring the country's democratic framework and the society that we live in. Well, this controversy raises important question about the intersection of human rights and geopolitics. While the report has positioned itself as an independent watchdog of religious freedom, its recommendations are often weighed against America's foreign policy priorities. India and the US are unlikely to let this report disrupt their broader strategic partnership. However, it does reflect the growing scrutiny on India's domestic policies from international bodies and how these bodies are interrupting in internal matters of India. Now, moving forward, India will need to navigate global concern over religious freedom while maintaining its assertive stand on national security. Will this report impact US-India relationship? I strongly believe no. Well, the answer still lies in how both the governments choose to balance the principles.